How's it going, everyone? It's me here again, and this one's going to be a little different. It's just going to be me rambling. I've been seeing people mentions like, will another video game crash happen? And I'm just throwing out my opinion. It could be completely wrong, but I don't think it will. I mean, I'm not saying it won't, but I don't think one will happen. And if it does happen, it won't happen to the same degree that it did in the early 80s. I mean, you gotta think, in the early 80s, it only happened in America. And after it happened in America, it shifted over to Japan, and Japan took over video games pretty much. I mean, Nintendo is what brought it back here in America. But at the time, it was Atari, and Atari was really the big one at the time. And there was different reasons why it happened. Oversaturation in the market, rise in computer gaming, and also no quality check of video games at the time. When it comes to video games, they'll look at them and they'll go, yeah, we'll do this, blah, 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 and that's just the short version of it all. They'll look over and make sure it's good enough to actually put out, or at least they should. I mean, let's be honest here, there's some games that should never have been put out the way they were. But back then, it was just they make it, it gets put out there. I mean, at the time, I think Activision was the first third-party company to actually form. It was someone, I believe, who worked for Atari, and then he left. And so there's really no quality control over like third-party titles and stuff. So you would go to this place and there'd just be like this giant bargain bin, and in the front there's like all these games, and there's probably crap games in the front, and then all the good games are like mixed in there, maybe like a couple, but you can't find them because there's just so much out there and so much crap. And then, of course, you had, like, tons and tons of consoles that were put out, and no one wanted them because, well, obviously, oversaturation, everyone already has them. They didn't look in, they didn't check and see, like, how many people have, how many do we put out, because when you go to a store, you're probably going to find maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 PS4s in one place, maybe 5, maybe about the same amount of Xbox Ones, maybe like 3 Wii U's out there. There's a certain amount that they put out there, and they're priced high, so that wasn't how it was back then. Back then, there's tons and tons just in one store. So those were like the main reasons it happened. I mean, you could say E.T. killed Atari. Let's face it, it wasn't just E.T. E.T. is not the worst game out there. That and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I own both of those, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is the worst game between the two. I'm sorry, it is. E.T.'s not so great, but E.T.'s slightly better. And of course, E.T. was also rushed. I think they did it in a couple of weeks or so that he made that game. So there was multiple reasons why that actually happened, and as I said, I don't think it will happen because Nintendo knows what to avoid. Yes, they made some mistakes that have hurt them, but I think they know to avoid, like, you know, the quality check. I think they know to check their games. I think they know not to oversaturate the market with just one console, have like 30 of them in one store. I'm pretty sure they're smart enough not to follow Atari, and I'm pretty sure Sony and Microsoft are the same way. I mean, Microsoft wants competition out there. According to them, Microsoft wants competition out there so they can avoid a monopoly. They want different companies, and even though I'm not huge on Sony, they're greedy, I really know. I don't think they're gonna do the same thing. So no, I don't think one's gonna happen. As I said, it's possible, but I don't think it will, and if it does, I don't think it's going to be to the degree that it originally happened.